Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're tuning into a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the InnerSpeak Soul Adventures radio show with Jean Adrienne. Jean is the creator of InnerSpeak, a method for clearing karmic and ancestral blocks. She's the author of 4 books and 2 decks of metaphysical clearing and activation cards. Jean offers private sessions via phone or Skype, as well as her office located in Blairsville, Georgia. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 657-383-1895. Enjoy this soul-healing show.
Good afternoon, happy Monday, happy May Day, and welcome to InnerSpeak Soul Adventures. I'm so happy that you have joined me today, and I've got a special guest host today, Laurie Huston. So she and I are here ready for your calls, and if you want to call on in, and don't forget to press 1 to make sure that the producer knows that you are in the queue. We are ready to rock and roll, giving you readings and clearings. Hey, Laurie, how are you?
Hey, Jean. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and happy
Yay.
May Day.
May Day.
Yeah.
Always nice. Yeah.
I know. It's so funny.
Nice to start a new month.
I know. And, where I was raised down in the Deep South in the Bible Belt, we had a thing at our high school where we had a May pageant, and we had a maypole, and we crowned the Queen of May. And I was just thinking about that last night as I was pondering that today was the 1st of May, thinking, I don't think all those Baptists realized what they were actually doing. And,
yeah, that's pretty funny.
Well, and it's really,
we
it's
didn't
even
have
more
that.
interesting when you consider that they had done that. That was at my high school, that was a big deal to be elected the May Queen and to get crowned and all that. She had a court and all that kind of cool stuff. And that had gone on for years and years and years, probably 40 or 50 years history of the May Queens. And the only thing that ever stopped it was integration. And when integration happened back in the 60s, they stopped it because they were so concerned that they would end up having to have an interracial May Queen. And so they just canceled the whole thing. I can't believe it.
Wow.
So they don't do it anymore, and it was a really beautiful pageant. But, here we go. The callers are starting to line up, so I guess we better get to work, huh?
Okay.
So our first caller is area code 208. So who are we speaking with, and how can we help you?
Hey, my name is Alyssa.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your name.
Oh, sorry, my name is Alyssa.
Oxa?
Alyssa.
Is that right?
Oh, Elsa.
Elsa. Okay, Elsa. All right, and how can we help you today, Elsa? Hello, Elsa? I'm not hearing you.
No.
I have a feeling she may have dropped off. Okay. Maybe she's going to call back in because I think she didn't have a good connection. Yeah. So anyway, back to the energetic weather and the weather in the skies. We've only got 3 more days of the dreaded M word, right?
Yay. Yes.
I'm counting minutes at this point. I think we're taking 2 days, and 18 hours and how many minutes and seconds?
I know. It's last month had a funny energy to it. I know that we talked about it before, but it really did have a funny energy. And then my feeling was that once we kind of hit the new moon on the 26th, energy seemed to lighten up for me. I don't know about you, but
oh yeah,
things started to lighten up. So I think that was a very positive new moon and changes. And then, yeah, I think once we really clear everything, a little bit like the shadow periods of both Venus and Mercury, around the middle of the month, I think things will start to feel a lot better. But I felt a nice little shift that happened last week, near the middle of the week. Certainly not at the beginning. The beginning, I was like, I had no idea what I was going to be talking about for my blog or my show with Tom. I mean, it was just like, I just had no idea. I had all these new books and things, but I was like, So I was kind of going through a period of like, my brain's not wanting to work right now. I was really busy, but I didn't feel it. And so I picked, I don't know, 2 cards came up, and I guess they're for May. So the first card was the 8 of Pentacles, which is really about our work and really getting back to, focusing on what we're wanting to do and how we're wanting to do it. And, we've already set all the intentions up. So now it's just like work kind of starts opening up. But also the star came up, and I love that card because the star is all about, what do you truly want? And I think a lot of us kind of get caught up in what we don't want instead of what we do want. So really focusing, setting the intention to focus on what we really want, because whatever that is, it's going to start manifesting in our lives. So the star is just kind of letting us know that energies have shifted and we're ready to, move forward in a really nice way. But for everyone out there, just start really focusing on what you do want. And if it starts by what you don't want, that's fine, but don't focus on what you don't want. So, for example, if bill period is coming up and you're, as it does at the first of the month, and you're starting to sort of, get anxious or something around that, shift it, look at the other side of it. Don't focus on what you don't want, focus on what you do want. So really shift it into the positive. And, I'm all for being authentic. I'm all for, really honoring the process that you're going through. I don't like that Pollyanna type thing where you say everything's perfect, but there's a difference between focusing on what's not working and not being authentic. So yes, get into that place of acceptance.
That is the most important thing going right now.
Right.
You have to be in your truth if you really want stuff to happen for you. So, yeah. But, you can always stay in your truth, even when it's not the prettiest truth. As long as you're authentic about it and you're not focused on what you don't want, then, it's all good. And it's interesting because on my TV show this morning, I interviewed Alea Dow, and she has been talking for a while now about last Wednesday, and she said that a new energetic wave was coming onto the planet, and she's been calling it the quickening, and the energy of the quickening is such that whatever you're thinking about, you're going to manifest it really, really fast, which is, again, why it's so important to focus on the things you do want. Because if you're thinking about the things you don't want, well, guess what? They're going to come and bite you in the butt. That kind of really, I think, validates what you're talking about here. And I was thinking, I'm sitting here pulling cards, I'm thinking that what I'm going to do, since we don't have any callers on the line right now, I'm going to do a group clearing for this new energy that has come on so that we can take advantage of it, so that we can ride this beautiful energetic wave, because I'm feeling great. So let's just do this clearing. And let me pull the last of the cards. And one more. Okay. All right. So when I surrendered into this and started pulling cards, and I just asked that we be allowed to release all the blocks that are holding us back from knowing our worth and from being able to take advantage of this wonderful energy during this time of quickening. And it says that we actually blocked this at the point of conception. You know, when apparently our souls had committed to come in here and we were conceived and we're heading down that path and we're like, ah! You know, and we started thinking about all the things we don't want. And so I pulled two of the orange cards, and what those were, the first one was punished for another's misdeeds, and the second one was suicide. So we felt like we were being forced into this incarnation, and we really tried to commit suicide. You know, it was almost like, oh man, what was I thinking? I don't really want to do this. And what this did was it shut down our hearts and made us, the belief was, I'm not lovable. And so, you know, these thoughts, they're limiting beliefs, they're frames, they're archetypal beliefs, and they can definitely hold us back and keep us repeating the same old, which hadn't worked in the past. So let's clear this. So the first card that I pulled for clearing said to connect heart to heart with the source and ask what can you do to help them. So what I want you to do is just close your eyes and go back to that point of conception and find your soul and connect with your soul there and ask what can you do to help him or her. And just see what your soul says. And now it says to call in an angel and ask for help. So the angel that we're going to call in is Micah. Micah is the angel of the divine plan. So we had a divine plan. Apparently we forgot it at the point of conception and we went into fear. So I want you to call in Micah and invite Micah to connect with your soul and to remind your soul of his or her worth, of who he or she really is, and let Micah just lift this veil of confusion and doubt and the illusion of not being lovable. And then in the here and the now, just take a moment and ask Spirit to raise your vibration as high as is humanly possible, to put you into your worth, to put you out of resonance with the old paradigms. Oh, that feels much better. All right. And the blessings that we receive for doing this work, the first one is release from overwhelm. Thank you. The second one is the return of authority, power, and confidence. And the final blessing today is a healing from our awakened inners. And it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, to your teachers, and to your guides for supporting you in moving forward into this wonderful new energy and manifesting everything your soul desires. And we actually have a caller now. So caller area code 773, who are we speaking with and how can we help you?
Hi, this is Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth, and how can we help you today?
Oh, I guess it's no accident that I called in because what you're talking about is kind of like self-worth, but I just left a domestic violence situation. I was basically a caretaker, a living caretaker for an elderly person who has become hostile and has dementia. And I'm struggling with not getting paid. I had to basically pack up and go into a hotel, and my life has just been unraveled. I have to take it to court. I've called Adult Protective Services. They haven't helped. I'm trying to manifest a positive outcome, but I'm just like in a stuck place, and I'm not really sure how to get out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Laurie, what do you see first, and then I'll do a clearing.
Okay. So part of this just let Mercury go direct again. Part of it, there's some delays around financial things and communication things. So just let things happen, because what I'm getting is, I'm seeing very positive outlook for this. Again, focus on what you do want. And I know with what it sounds like, there's a lot of fear going on just because you're saying that you had to go into a hostel and there was hostility and abuse. So, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Try and accept it for what it is, but also allow yourself to be more open and try not to, don't sugarcoat it or anything, but try and shift your energy again from what you don't want, which is all the stuff that's happening, and worrying about whether the money's going to come through to you, and now focusing on all the other things that you have to do, which is to set up a place and all the things that sort of, or to get another place, which my feeling is that will happen quite quickly. It's just right now, it's just the energy is starting to shift for you. Just really don't focus on all the difficulties. Now, I do get that there is a possibility you will have to take him to court, but so just get somebody, I don't know, there has to be somebody in your normal, do you get them privately, or are you with a company that helps you?
No, I'm doing it all on my own. I've tried doing it for 2 years, and I've gotten no help from social services or legal help or anything. They keep saying, just take it to small claims. And every time I send him the certified letters, he refuses to sign for them, and then I have to send another one. And now finally I have to, I have to get him served to go to court, because he knows what he's doing, and he's been evaluated. He's coherent, but and I found out he's done this to other people. It's like I'm breaking that chain.
Right. And it does look like you're going to have to follow up with that. But I do get that you will get something out. So you're saying that this has been going on for 2 years, or just that you've been doing it on your own for 2 years?
No, it's been going on for over 2 years. Yep, and I've been trying to get help, and there is, I've been everywhere. I've been going to counseling, I've been going to lawyers, I've been writing emails, nothing. There is no help. They just say, you can handle it, go to small claims. So here I am living in a hotel having panic attacks and trying to handle everything.
Okay, but you have, are you open to getting another position? Because there is something around you. It's just with all of this anxiety and focusing on the problem, you're kind of not allowing yourself to move forward. And there is lots around you and lots of love and lots of support around you. But I think the more you're focused on the legalities and how, he's done this before and he's hurt, the more you focus on that story of what's happened and focusing on it that's happened to you, it's expanding that energy instead of what we talked about earlier, and just allowing yourself. Now, I know Jean will assist to whatever it is that's sort of blocking this from happening, but you really need to focus on what you want and not on what you don't want. So all the energy, still go forward and do all the things that you need to do, because this will be a good lesson for both of you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you need to be able to move forward. So really start thinking about what it is that you want. Not, yes, you can look at a happy outcome for this, and that's guaranteed, but also look at what you need for yourself. Where do you want to go next? What type of person do you want to attract to allow you, to be self-sufficient or in a place where you're working for them in their home, and so that all of the other stuff is taken care of. So everything is taken care of. But focus on that. What type of person, how do you want it to look and stuff so that you can move forward? Because there's a part of you is because of all of this, because that's where your focus has been for the last 2 years, which is a really long time to be putting all of your energy into something. You need to be able to shift it so that you can move forward. So, Jean, I think there's got to be some pretty intense stuff there for you to help her with.
Well, there is, as a matter of fact. And so, Elizabeth, this guy that hasn't paid you, and you say he's gone into a nursing home?
No, he's still in his home, and there's another roommate there, and the house is falling into disrepair, and I left because there was no air conditioning. There's holes in the walls. There's black mold everywhere. I mean, I had to get out. It was making me sick as well. And
Gotcha.
I've made 4 complaints to the county building inspector. They won't follow up with it. I mean, I've got absolutely no help. So it's going to have to go to court. I'm going to have to show the judge the pictures where I left and use every single thing to get the money that I'm owed so that I can move where I need to go. So I gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just so stressed. I'm having panic attacks at night that I don't sleep. I can't function. I need to snap out of this somehow.
Right. I gotcha. Okay. So again, back to this man. You say he has dementia?
We think he's starting to get dementia. Yes.
Okay. Because I think he's checking out. Actually, the card that I pulled was Veil of Death, and so at some level, his soul is trying to get resolution with you. He's not consciously doing this. He's not consciously trying to get resolution, but his soul is. His soul, knows what's going on. And so I pulled the 2 setup cards. And the first one I pulled was an arranged or no love marriage. So you were in an arranged situation where there was no love. You weren't getting the respect and the love that you deserved. And the other card says betrayal, lying, or lied to. And so then I wanted to say, okay, what is this doing to his soul and her soul? And the soul reaction card says inflow. Money, love, and creativity has been shut down, just pretty much what you said. The stuck belief is that it's not possible to change. That's the one that's got you having panic attacks. And it's really not your belief, it's his. So you've gone into resonance with him, you little empath, you. And that's what we need to clear. So let's do the clearings on this. The first card that I pulled said to allow him to vent all of his negative emotions. So what I want you to do is I want you to not be involved in this. I want you to connect in with your higher self, and I want you to let your higher self connect in with the higher self of this person and give him safe space to release all of his anger, his fear, his rage, his shame, his humiliation, until it's all gone. So let's just let that happen up high. Let's don't pay any attention to it. You don't need to be part of it, and you don't need to get any of that on you. But he's just been projecting at you and at the world his sense of betrayal, his sense of being in an arranged or no-love marriage. And he's just putting out into the world what he feels has been done to him. So let's just let all that go. And now what I want you to do is I want you to ask the angels and your guides to raise your vibration as high as is humanly possible for you. Let's put you completely out of resonance with him and with this whole situation. And take a deep breath in and let that happen. Ooh. And finally, I want you to pretend like you're looking at yourself in a mirror. And the image that you see in the mirror is the image of you as a victim. And that's not who you are. And I want you just to gently blow on that image. And I want you to blow that image away so that you can see your true self, so that you can see your worth. Because what's happened here is you have forgotten your worth. You've allowed him to abuse you for the last 2 years. Seems like longer than that, actually. To the point that you have lost the conscious belief of who you really are, of your Christed self, your light self, your beautiful self. So I just want you to blow that image away so that you can see who you really are. Let's go back to who Elizabeth really is. I see it for you. I know who you are. I know what you are. I know how you serve. And you just have to see it for yourself right there in the mirror. There you go. All right. And you receive blessings for having the courage to face this and to call in today and to get this clearing and to get this reading. Your first blessing is synchronistic flow and good fortune. So just like Laurie said, there's good stuff all around you. The second blessing is a healing from your awakened inner. We're getting you back to your true Elizabeth self, not the one who's been degraded and abused for the last year. And finally, the final blessing today is opening to miracles. Now that you're shifting your perspective, good stuff can start to happen. And it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment, Elizabeth, and give thanks to your angels, your teachers, and your guides. And Laurie and I thank you for calling in. This was a big one, I think.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, and like she said, get clear on what you want as your next position so that you can go on and move into that now. Because when we don't know what we want, we just sit there and wait for the universe to bring it to us. And so you fall into inertia and nothing happens. So just decide what you want, and I think you can manifest it really fast.
Awesome.
So,
well, thank you.
Get back in touch with us and let us know how this turns out. We're pulling for you.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Cool. Yeah. I'm reading this amazing book right now, and a lot of the information that was coming to me to share with her has to do with information that I've read in this book. I think I've asked you this, Laurie, but have you read any of the books by Paul Selig?
Yeah, well, I am now because
okay.
I have two. I have two of them. The newest books, the Book of Mastery 1 and 2, and
yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, the 1 and 2 Book of Mastery 1 and 2, because I'm doing an interview on him in June.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'm still, working every day on the Book of Knowing and Worth. And I'm finding that it's creating for me a profound shift in my life. I didn't realize, like Elizabeth, I did not realize how far off track I had gotten with knowing who I am and what I'm worth. And, when you don't know that, you will settle for a lot less than what is really, what's yours by divine right.
Right.
So it's very important. I think this probably should be required reading for everybody who listens to the show.
Yeah, and we get caught up in our story, right? We get caught up in everything that's happening and really focused on it happening to us. And, our ego gets involved, and we're looking at what's right and, what's wrong. And the more we kind of move into that challenging energy, the more we're forgetting how incredibly divine and perfect everything is, and that everything is here to help us grow. Everything is just, there's the book Remembering the Light by doctors, the Holnecks. I mean, I'm really loving that book, but there's something about, our wounds aren't getting in our way. They are the way. They're the way for us to move out. We keep thinking that, all this stuff that's happening to us is the problem, where actually it's the way out of the problem. We're just too focused on the problem to see that it's all divinely perfect. It's all set up and ready for us to just, make that shift and heal that wound and know how divine and perfect we are.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, listeners, I noticed that there are several of you that are out there on the switchboard, and either you have not pressed 1 and you just want to listen, or you pressed 1, and sometimes for me I have to press it 2 or 3 times in order for it to register into Blog Talk. So if you think you pressed 1 but you did not hear them say you're now in the host queue, then you're not in the host queue. We see you on the switchboard, but we can't actually call on you to give you a reading and a clearing. So if you want to avail yourself of a reading from Laurie and a clearing from me, please press 1 and press it until you actually get confirmation from Blog Talk, and then my producer will show me an email and I will know you're there. So there you go. Yeah. So I am so dumbfounded by myself, so often, because I tend to see the world the way I saw it yesterday. And, of course, it comes to me because my clients bring me these things, if they want help with them.
Did you have another Sunday moment?
No, actually, I cleared that.
Okay.
I did not have a Sunday moment yesterday. Hallelujah. I did not have one last week. Hallelujah.
Good.
I finally got to the root cause of it, and I did a session, and I actually had an entity, and it was an entity that was created by the energy of my birth, going through the birth process, labor and birth, which is some pretty intense stuff, and the thought forms and the fear stuff that happened during that time, and it had actually become an entity. And I could actually see this entity when I did the clearing. I could see its eyes. I didn't see anything but eyes. And it was attached to me on my lower back, and every time, of course, that I would go to the chiropractor for the last month, I'd had subluxations in L3, L4, or L5 on my spine, like right where this sucker was sucking on to me. And basically what it was doing was it was keeping me from seeing my worth. And so I had to, kiss that little puppy goodbye because it wasn't serving me anymore. And as soon as I did, the entire week got better, but, nothing was for sure until Sunday came along and I could wake up and see, am I going to have a Sunday moment here or not? And I did not. And in fact, double checking this past Sunday, I did not. So it's gone. And, and it's just like you said, these things are not the things that are holding us back, but they're the things that are the signals that it's time for us to grow up. It was time for me to put on my big girl panties and deal with that. That's something that had happened, when I was still in utero, and certainly wasn't aware of it. But I've got a client who sort of brought what you were talking about to me in the last week in spades, because she has an employee who's been disrespectful to her, and it's almost like he doesn't know who's the boss, and he thinks he is, and and he gets passive aggressive, and quite frankly, I think she should can him, but hey, not my job, not my company. But she knows how I feel about that. And so something else happened. We did a clearing on it, things got better for a while, and then something else happened, and she called me back and she said, do I need to do another clearing because this is what's happening and it's happening again? And I was listening to the whole situation, and what I realized was that she was still looking at this employee through her old glasses, through her old filters, and so she was creating the problem. He was willing to, I think, step up to the plate and be who he was supposed to be, but he could have done it, he could have done it in a fancy costume and wrapped up in gold, and she wouldn't have seen it because she could only see him the way he was, in a judgmental way. And so I had to remind her that, when you judge someone else, then you lower your own vibration down to that level, but it's exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's very interesting when we continue to see and add into the story instead of, allowing ourselves to sort of step outside that story and know that we can change it. But we're so attached to, I want to say, the victim consciousness, or we're so attached to what's happening that it's happening to us, that everything that happens, our perceptions are so, I want to say ego-based, but in a way that we don't always recognize. Like we're just not being aware of the fact that these are all gifts. These are all these challenges that we think are happening to us. They're really here to assist us. They are our way out. Like they really truly are our way out into freedom. And we get so attached to that story of what they're doing to us, and we get so much energy around talking about it and sharing it. And even though we truly in our hearts want to shift, want to heal, there's some gratification that we get when we share and we talk about it and find blame in the other person, or right. there's just this thing that we get that that we, I don't know, we're just attached to that energy. We're attached to that story. We say we want to change it, but there's a part of us that change is really difficult sometimes. And where will we get the energy from then? Because we do get gratification from talking about all the problems.
Yep, we got a caller. Area code 520. And who are we speaking with?
Christina.
Hi, Christina. And how can we help you today?
I was listening to your conversation there. I don't think I've ever listened to you ladies before, and I'm finding it interesting. I'm like, oh.
Oh, great.
I wanted to know, do you see, I just had a birthday in April, and I wanted to start the new year, for me. Is there anything blocking me, or am I stuck anywhere? I mean, as far as life is good for me, all is well, but I know in money, I do have a little block there. Like we always have enough. I've been married 30 years. We always have enough, but there's never extra. So am I blocking something? Or what can I do?
Okay.
Well, of course you are.
What advice can you ladies give me today?
There you go.
Go ahead, Laurie.
Okay, so there's something around money and disappointment. So there's some part of you that gets triggered and puts you, I wouldn't say necessarily depressed, but there's a disappointment and sadness around money situation. Now, there is opportunities coming your way, and there's lots of things that can come to you. Now, one of the things that is coming up is that you need to play with this more. You need to come to it from a place of playfulness and joy. But instead, what happens is there's this sadness and depression around the issue. So my thoughts around this, other than the other issue, is just to meditate around, what is happening and what are your perceptions and your story. You say there's always enough, so there's a part of you that thinks that you can only have enough, okay? And there's, again, this disappointment and sadness. And so I want you to really shift that. I want you to, around, the end or the beginning of each month, so this is a good time. We just had a nice new moon where the energy started shifting. I want you now to just sort of really think about contemplate, what would it look like? How could you play with more money? What would having more money, instead of worrying about it, just being enough, what would more money look like? And how could you play with that? And how much fun could you have with, what would that look like in your life? How would your marriage and all the things that are around you, what more could come from that? And then I want you to just have faith and trust. The universe is always there for you. It's just that you kind of set in a story that you just have enough. Not too much, not too little, always there, but the anxiety that you go through right around the end of the month, worrying about whether, you keep focusing on, oh dear, is there going to be enough, instead of going, ooh, let's play, let's have some fun, let's find a way to bring more joy and playfulness back into your life and your relationship. Just have a more playful approach. And then think about, what are you passionate about? What would be, if you thought about more fun, also think about, what brings you bliss? What could you do just for you that would be fun and that you wouldn't get caught up in, the disappointment and the sadness and the worrying? Just really rethink about, what could you do? Even if it's just for yourself, that would be playful and fun and exciting. And it doesn't always have to include a lot of money. These things can be, you just taking some time and reading some books, or, listening to more programs and just getting your energy up because you're wanting to and that this is fun for you. So I want you just to sort of shift over from that thought of, will you just make it enough, and there's still that worrying involved and all that, to, okay, what would it look like? How could I play? How could I have some more fun? And then maybe write about it, think about it before you go to bed, think about it when you wake up in the morning. Just really start becoming a little bit more playful, and then trying to find a way for you to use that energy for yourself, and how, what would that look like? And just keep moving forward. Have trust, have faith, shift it over, give it to the universe, let it go, let God. Jean.
Yeah. So, Christina, this block on having just enough and not more actually goes back to your early childhood. So what happened to you when you were 4 years old, or give or take around that age?
4 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know if honestly, I don't remember, but I'm I don't know if subconsciously I'm not remembering, or I just don't remember right now.
Okay.
And I'll try to remember.
All right. Well, the first card I pulled actually said you felt overwhelmed by an authority figure, and then I pulled the one that said it was this lifetime, and then I muscle tested and found that it was age 4. So the orange cards are the setup cards, and the setup around this was that a child or loved one was taken away, and you felt failure, ruin, and poverty. So this could have been like a neighbor that you really liked the kid and they moved. And you took it personally. It could be that you lost someone, a relative that you loved died. It could be that someone that was close in your family, they had a falling out, and then they never came back anymore, and you missed that person. But whatever happened around that, you took it personally. It's like, oh my God, I'm a failure. In fact, the stuck belief is I'm broken. So, at age 4, there's no way in heck that you could have been responsible for anything really going on in your family that would cause failure, ruin, and poverty. But something happened. So what this did to your soul, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just going to say, when I was 17, my mom passed away, and my dad and my sister sold our, the home that we were living in, and we were supposed to split it 3 ways, and we never did. I didn't get my share. But, I was 17 then when that happened, and I've tried, and I thought I let it go. I prayed and I prayed, and and I said, all this, my dad's passed away now too.
Mm-hmm.
And
but this actually started back when you were young, which is what set you up for that whole situation happening when you were 17. That's just, another way of blocking yourself from getting what you deserve. Whatever happened when you were 4, what it did to your soul was it messed with your self-worth. It caused you to lose your self-worth, and then even your instinctual behaviors were wounded as well. So let's clear this. You don't need to really remember it. But what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to go back to age 4. I want you to find little 4-year-old Christina. I want you to connect to her at the heart level, and I want you to ask her, sweetie, what can I do to help you? And just get what you get. And if nothing consciously comes to you, it's okay. You've set this motion going, and it's time to release all of that stuff. Whatever happened back then, it's time to let it go, because you're still holding it inside your body and out in your field. It just looks like areas of gucky, yucky, old, stuck energy, sticky, gray, tacky. And it needs to go, because what it does is it attracts to you people, places, and situations that make you feel like you felt when you were 4 years old. And so I just want you to ask God and the angels to take all of this old, stuck energy out of your body and out of your field. Let's just get rid of it once and for all.
Hey, I know I want.
And now what I want you to do is I want you to ask the angels to raise your vibration as high as is humanly possible for you right here, right now. Let's take you to that place of worth and restore your worth. Doesn't that feel better? Wow.
Yes.
And so you receive blessings from the angels for doing this work and for having the courage to call in today. Your first blessing is a healing from your awakened inner. Your second blessing is a centeredness and calmness that enables you to see and accomplish your purpose in this lifetime. And your final blessing is opening to miracles. And it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, to your teachers, and to your guides. And we thank you for calling in this afternoon and letting this stuff go. It was time.
Well, thank you, ladies, very much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with me. I appreciate it very much. And I do feel better.
Good. All right.
And you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. And right now when I pray, I will pray for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great day.
All righty. Okay, now. Yeah, I think that we, especially we don't remember the things that we thought when we were little kids, but they were profound, and they shape our landscape as it is today. There's no such thing as an idle thought. Every thought you think creates a thing. I see them as shapes. Laurie probably sees them differently, but that's okay. They create stuff.
Yeah.
You feel them, okay. They create stuff in your body and in your field. And this stuff attracts to you people, places, and situations just like a big old magnet that make you feel like you felt when you had that thought. And just like we did with Christina, it's just that easy to let it go. So, wow, this has been a great show. We haven't had a huge number of callers, but we had the right callers. And, and we appreciate you guys for supporting us and for calling in on Mondays and letting Laurie and I work with you. And next week you'll be back to having me again. And the week after that, I'm going to be out of the country, and so Laurie is going to run the show in my place. So you'll just get readings, and she can do her own form of clearings because she's very good at that. So, yeah. And
we should talk about our special.
Oh, yeah. So you tell them.
Okay. So for anybody who's listening or for anybody who wants, Jean and I will offer a personalized half-hour session, so a little bit more private and personal. We can really delve into some of the things that are going on. I do the reading, Jean does the clearing, and then I do a little bit more reading afterwards to see, what the outcome is after the clearing. And we don't do half-hour sessions ourselves, but we're willing to do this for our listeners, and we offer this at only $75. So take advantage of it because it's a really great gift to look at things just a little bit more in depth and allow you to do a little bit more healing. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, and how you take advantage of it is you go to one of our websites. You can either go to Laurie's website, which is intuitivesoul.com, INTUITIVESOUL.com, and contact her there. Or you can go on my website, jeanadrienne.com, and contact me there, and then we'll work it out, and we'll set up a time with you to do it either via phone or via Skype. So whatever is your pleasure. And we just love doing these, and people have had some pretty profound results by digging in a little bit deeper. And we will.
I do have a toll-free number as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it would be on your website, right?
It is on my website, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So, because Laurie is in Toronto. So, yeah, that could be kind of expensive if you wanted to call her from there. So, and also on my website, if you will opt into my newsletter, I will send you a link for the online version of the InnerSpeak cards. Those are the cards that I was using today to do the clearings. And if you don't like my newsletter, can't imagine why that would happen, but it could. You can opt out at any time and still continue to use those cards. So as soon as you opt in, you get the link to the website for the online InnerSpeak cards. And so I guess that's about a wrap for today. Do you have anything else, Laurie?
No, just, really focus on what you want. This is some great energy to start beginning to create some really wonderful things in our lives. So focus on what you want.
There you go. All right, so until next week, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Love you all. Ciao.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
Hardship. My grandmother would go through it every month to pay her insurance bill. First, she would handwrite a paper check, in cursive. Then, using her own tongue, she would wet a stamp for an envelope. Today, however, we need not weary our hands and tongues. Today, we can pay our Geico bill with the Geico app. Away with hardship, in with bill pay on the Geico app. Thank you.